Supergirl Season 2, Episode 11, The Martian Chronicles. Really enjoyed this episode. It had a nice little bit of action to it. It had, of course, with it being called The Martian Chronicles, had a lot to do with Martian characters. It didn't actually focus as much on John specifically as I thought it would. I figured it would kind of be like all about him, or like his feelings towards McGann and stuff like that. And it was kind of just, it happened to have a lot of Martian characters in it. It didn't really seem too much to focus on the Martian elements. They certainly had those parts in there for sure, especially the ending, which really surprised me with McGann going up to Mars to basically be kind of a leader a bit to other rebellious white Martians. So I'm assuming that she is going to come back. I was very curious what made them choose that route for her character, because she's a fairly important character in the DC universe, and to do it that way where she comes in and then really she leaves out as well, like all in one season, it has me very curious for what they have planned for her story in the future, or if they have anything planned for her at this point. But really surprised me with the way they ended it. But they certainly had a great touching moment at the end when they say goodbye to each other and McGann does leave onto the ship. But I still enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. It is more focused on McGann than it is on John, but it was still really well done, and I love what they did. We get introduced to McGann's husband, and just all the madness that encompasses being a white Martian and the stuff that she had to deal with, and of course to other white Martians who feel fine having been, basically rulers over the green Martians. And it was really cool, and I liked the way they went through the story, and just once it got down to the lockdown portion of the episode, that was really cool too. And they started going crazy super fast with the one guy. I was like, normally that happens after a couple of minutes, but he instantly lost his mind, and I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, wow, that went really bad, really, really fast. I didn't think it would happen so quickly, but I love the way they did it. It was really well done. Smaller stories in this episode revolved, mostly the smallest story was around Kara, and really her feelings just in general. It's like her dealing with her feelings with her sister, where it's Kara's, I believe they say it's her 13-year birthday on Earth. And of course they always have this big celebration or something, and it wasn't really going the way that it normally would have, because Alex was going out to a concert date. And Kara was a little upset by that, and then when they kind of talk about it more towards the end, in the middle it's kind of revealed that Kara made up her plans like the day of and stuff like that. So it was very interesting. They go through it a little bit piece by piece, and then it touches more on the other story, which is Kara dealing with her feelings towards Mon-El. And it starts off where she doesn't have feelings for him, and I couldn't believe it, but of course it kicked off because he was drinking club soda, and I was like, that is definitely going to be the start of something. And that's kind of what happens as it goes through the episode, and she realizes that she does want to at least talk to him about it. But of course he ends up going on the date at the very end of the episode, and it doesn't work. And when they got to that point, it finally clicked that I should wonder, are they going to just have a normal relationship for her ever in this series? Because this is the third time, well, technically it's not the third time. Wynn liked her, but she never liked him at all. But they've continued to do this where they have this relationship thing, and it works for her, and then inexplicably it just doesn't between her and Jimmy. It's just poof, it's not working all of a sudden. And then now they have it with Mon-El, where he actually admits it, and she's like, well, I don't have those feelings for you. And then she does have these feelings for him, and of course it's very TV, where it's like, no, don't care for you, but I actually do when I finally want to tell you you've moved on. So it just makes me wonder, are they going to do it again where it happens? I mean, I would assume if they end up together, they need to just stay together, or if not permanently, which they don't need, it doesn't need to be a permanent thing, but it at least needs to be for like a season and a half or something. Like it needs to be a full season or something where they are just officially together, because at this point it's like the third relationship thing that they've done for Kara, where there are feelings involved, and we've already had them do it in a really weird way where they built up to it, and when they finally had it, for no good reason, it just fell apart. And now they have another relationship where they're starting to build it up, and it's already going the generic route where it's like I said, I don't have feelings, but I actually do, and I hid them, or I don't know, she didn't understand them, I don't know. But for whatever reason, she was struggling with her feelings for Mon-El, and when she came to terms with him, it was too late. He moved on. So we'll see where that goes. At this point, I don't really care that much for it. I like Mon-El as a character, and I like Kara as a character. I just don't really care about the relationship stuff at this point. If they just got together in that other episode, that actually would have been great, because it would have just been like, that's what it was. I thought it was going to at least be somewhat original, and it was kind of like with Wynn, she just wouldn't have feelings for him because she never seemed to, like, at all. Like, they had, like, maybe one moment where they were talking and stuff, and that was about it. But I was like, okay, that's it, no big deal. And then this episode comes out, and it's like, but maybe I do have feelings for him. And I'm like, it's just like prolonging something when they could have made it somewhat unique. They just went like the really generic route, I felt. But outside of that relationship element in this episode, I thought it was really well done. I like the action. I like the sort of claustrophobic feel of the episode, especially, the second half of it when they actually are trapped. And it was pretty cool. And they go through, the teams start to split up, and that's when things fall apart. And we find out that there's actually a second white Martian, and that's when it's revealed that not only was Wynn kidnapped and hidden somewhere in the building, but also Alex was kidnapped as well, and she was hidden somewhere within the building too. So they have to find both of them, rescue them, defeat both white Martians. Once Wynn is rescued, he has to stop, for whatever reason, a nuclear reaction. That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, why in the world would they need a nuclear reactor to power this building? Other buildings don't need to do that. There are other buildings that they might not have like alien stuff, but in the real world, there are giant buildings that are very tech-based, and they don't need nuclear reactors to power a bunch of computers and stuff, and technologically advanced jail cells. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I was like, I understand they have like alien technology and the alien cells so that they can keep certain species trapped and stuff, and I'm like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for the couple of cells that they might have, which we've seen clearly only seem to just be rooms with like plexiglass plating. Like, that doesn't seem like that'll need a nuclear reactor to me. But for whatever reason, the building needs a nuclear reactor, so they had that in there that they had to stop. Of course, they do, and everyone ends up surviving. They actually made a pretty funny reference to Alex and her, like, the new handgun that she has. So I was like, that's actually cool that they made that reference again, that she actually, it's like, hey, this is actually a thing. She has this new technology. So thought that was interesting that they put that one in there. But like the episode, love the focus on the Martians, and of course it makes a ton of sense with the ending that we had, which very good, very great ending. Just sad story-wise. Like, man, I wouldn't have thought that they would have had her character leave the show so soon, even if it's not permanent and she does end up coming back, which I'm sure she will. They've introduced her. She'll most likely come back, so I'm excited for that whenever it happens, and however it happens. But it was sad to see her go. I was looking forward to a lot more of McGann on Earth with the team, and they were slowly but surely building up the team, which I actually thought was pretty cool. Every once in a while, McGann would kind of come into a situation like this one, and she'd be in there fighting with them. And in this episode, Mon-El was on the outside, but of course he's in there most of the episodes fighting as a part of the team too. And I just liked that aspect of it. I thought it was cool that they were slowly building up this team. They were adding in characters that actually had superpowers, and they were actually fighting, which I mentioned a while back. They kind of do that with Flash, where these people have powers, but everybody that comes in with superpowers is either evil or doesn't really use their powers that much, so it's still just buried the whole time. Until now, they finally have Wally doing it. But they didn't really do that with Supergirl. It's like, nope, they got powers, they're using their powers all the time. So sadly, we lost one of those characters, but great way to do it. Great ending episode for her, temporary ending for her until she gets back in I would assume a later season. I doubt that she'd come back in this very season, but we'll see what happens. Really enjoyed this one. Excited for the next one as well, because they're bringing back the Luthors. So that seems really cool. I'm pretty sure they show Lex Luthor's like that power suit that he's always wearing. I don't know if they're going to have one of them wear it, but I'm excited. I'm pretty sure that's what that was, so I'm excited to see them kind of mess around with that idea. Cadmus in general seems to be coming back into play, so really excited for what they're going to be doing with this next episode. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it or your least favorite parts about it. And I definitely want to know how you guys feel about them actually having McGann leave the show, even if it's temporary. Do you think it was too soon? Do you not really care because she never really had that big of a focus? She had a couple of episodes, but ultimately it was like, how does this character affect John? Because he's one of the main characters from the first episode, really. So I personally wish that, you know, they kept her on, of course, because I liked her character, even if she didn't have the biggest roles. Every time she was in it, it was something fairly crucial. It was either the alien ring thing in the earlier this season, where it was like, all right, well, you know, she's fighting to survive, and you know, she's kind of like top dog in this organization, you know, in this little fight club, and it was just really serious. And then, you know, of course, the reveal of the White Martian stuff, and then her almost dying, and John having to save her, and then before that, him almost dying and her having to save him. So even though she didn't get a lot of focus, she certainly had more than enough. Every time they gave her focus, it was like life or death every single time. So they may not have put her in there like every episode, but every one she was in was very, very important. So I think they did a good job with her, and personally, I would have loved if she just stayed in it. But like I said, I'm excited to see what they do with her character in the future when she does decide to come back, or when they decide to, you know, bring her back. But would like to know how you guys feel about her departure from the show right now, and of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.